नाहर जेबीएन महाकुंभ में आपका स्वागत है। मैं ऋषभ सावंतसुका, जीटो बिजनेस नेटवर्क चीफ सेक्रेटरी। As promised, we have brought you lot of opportunity creation by the business icons, by the entrepreneurs who have done something different, something exceptionally different, which solve the problem of the business. So today we have with us Mr. Nitin Jain. Mr. Nitin is a silver medalist and a computer science engineer from IIT Delhi. He has worked for 7 years as an investment banker in London, taking care of the credit derivatives desk of the Royal Bank of Scotland. He came to India in 2015, the kind of Swadesh movement, to pursue his entrepreneurial ambitions, and is one of the founder of a company called Off Business, and a unicorn which does lending and raw material aggregation for small and medium enterprise. They also have recently launched a contract manufacturing division and are helping large companies with their outsourced manufacturing. They are very active in steel, polymer, chemicals, textile, and food, both raw and processed food. So Nitin will tell us about a new venture called O Agri Farm. I would not say it new, it is already there, developing, growing very fast. And what they does here is to finance and fulfillment of non-perishable agri commodities. So in JBN, we have an agri-food division, we have an agri-food vertical. So all my friends who are part of the agri-food chain should carefully listen to Nitin today, because they deal with maize, sugar, wheat, rice, spices, and nuts. So they solve problem of supply chain aggregation and ensure that the best quality material get delivered to the buyer. Buyer can be end user, buyer can be trader, buyer can be retailer. And they are already working with companies like Reliance, DMart, Metro, and more supermarket. So welcome, Mr. Nitin, and I'm really excited to have a chit chat with you, a fireside
chat. Thank you, Rishabh.
Yeah, and the kind of first question I would like to ask on behalf of the Nahar JBN Mahakumbh team and the visitor and the exhibitor who are watching this live right now, that how this idea of business came to the gang of co-founders.
Yeah, so thank you. It's a wonderful question, and it's a very passionate passionate answer that I would like to give. So in 2015, when we started Off Business, we tried to see what was the problem in the B2B industry. So if you look at the B2B industry, it was very nascent at that particular stage, and no one was really solving any particular problem. It was only B2C, जहाँ पे Amazon था, Flipkart था, or you have your Myntra, your Jabongs of the world. No one was really looking at the B2B part of the business. So we said that we want to do something in the B2B part of the business. We wanted to do something especially for the SMEs. The SMEs, those who have a turnover of, let's say, from 1 crore annual turnover going up to, let's say, 400, 500 crores of annual turnover. These are the people that, or these are the companies that we really wanted to help. Then we basically, looked at the problems that these companies are facing. So we saw what they were doing was that they were procuring raw material from traders and distributors, and they were getting charged an excessive amount of interest rate for the privilege of taking credit from the traders and distributors, because the SMEs have a very, very little asset. They have very few assets to give to the banks to get a working capital line. CC limit, OD limit बड़ा limited मिलता है. उनका जो total working capital requirement होता है, if it is 100 rupees, only 30 rupees they're able to get from the banks. Remaining 70%, they have to go to the traders, from the distributors, and they get charged more than 2 to 3% per month for taking credit from all these traders and distributors. So we said that we want to help these guys out. We want to see what is the best way to help them out. So we solved their main problem. We gave them financing at a much cheaper rate. And the second biggest problem we solved initially was we basically started aggregating the raw material that these SMEs were taking. We started with steel. Steel ke andar there is flat steel, there is TMT, there is structure steel, there is angle channel beams. So we started aggregating all this material, and we started to give credit lines to these SMEs to actually manufacture and then supply to their anchors. So this is how the idea began. We wanted to compete against, the middlemen or the traders or the distributors who charge excessive to the end consumers. And we wanted to buy directly from the manufacturers. So we did not want to have any kind of intermediary in the middle. And we wanted to, directly connect the SMEs to the manufacturers. Normally what happens is if there's a small SME, it cannot go to the big manufacturer because it would not be able to give advance payments, and second, it would not be able to give volumes. A small SME manufacturing steel, let's say steel tables, would not be able to go to SAIL and purchase 10 tons of steel. SAIL will not entertain them, and it does not have the money also to pay upfront. So we try to aggregate volume from multiple SMEs, and we went to SAIL. We did an MOU with SAIL of 10,000 metric tons per month, and that's how we are able to supply at very, very good prices, as well as give credit as well to these SMEs.
I think I remember I heard Mr. Mukesh Ambani saying once in a lecture that every big problem is a big opportunity and it's a big business. So basically, business picked up the two big problem: funding, financing, and volume negotiation capability of the SME. So you enhance the capacity of an SME by aggregating the SMEs together. So that is
Yes.
a beautiful model. And now I can see behind you there is a nice rice farm. And now you have started a vertical which is dealing with agriculture and food, and again you are replicating the success of business in this very vast area. And once upon a time, India used to contribute 40% of the world GDP through agriculture, through
Yes.
spices and grains and all. And now, thanks to the environment, thanks to the climate and the rivers and the agroclimatic zone we have, it's a vast opportunity. So where, in which sector, in which segment you have started this agri operations, which you are heading?
So Rishabh, thank you so much again. So, I'll tell you a little bit of a story of how I started agri. So agri in OFP did not exist before 2020 April, right? So April 2020, I was researching because it was COVID time. Everything was shut down. So we did not have too much to do at that particular point of time. So, I started researching what are the different kind of businesses that we can do. So we studied insurance, we studied other sectors, but agri was something that had a massive impact because a person, COVID or not COVID or any kind of situation, he has to eat. The person has to eat, right? So agri is something that is evergreen. It is a sector which will stay. It will stay as it is. In fact, it will keep growing. There is because the population will keep growing. So it is not a sector which will be impacted by recession, by inflation, by anything else, right? So that's something that caught my attention. And when I looked at the size of the agricultural sector, it was mind blowing. It was about $1 billion of total addressable market. The TAM, as they say, $1 trillion, not even billion, like 1,000 billion, $1 trillion. So that actually caught my attention. And then we said that India is such a complex country with such complex supply chains. I am sure there would be some problems in terms of supply chain aggregation of these perishable, non-perishable commodities. So we picked up non-perishable commodities and we started off with wheat and maize. So we again saw that wheat is grown in North India, but the people in South India, they have a lot of problem in getting wheat from North India or getting good quality wheat. So we started aggregating wheat from North India. We started, building rakes because a miller in South India would not pick up an entire rake. It is for 4.5, 5 crores. So we started again doing aggregation. Someone needed 10 wagons, someone needed 20 wagons. So we filled the entire rake and we started supplying to those guys. So we started supplying the supply chain aggregation problem of transporting wheat from north to the south. Similarly, we started looking at other commodities such as almonds, sugar, maize. So we found that each and all the commodities that we looked at, there was some problem in the supply chain, whether the quality was not good enough, wherever the material was being picked up, the buyer had no control where the material was being picked up, how the material was sorted, how the material, the QC was done. So we tried to solve all of this, and plus the buyer wanted some kind of credit, which the traders or the local people were not able to provide, right? Because they don't have that kind of cash flow. So we tried to solve for all of these problems, right? And then slowly but steadily we got foothold, and then we started enhancing, going deeper into the supply chains. Earlier we used to pick up from traders. Now we go backwards into the chain. We pick up from the FPOs, and hopefully very soon we will start picking up directly from the farmers.
Wonderful. So, I think your model looks like easy said, but yes, very tough to execute because you are talking about quality, standardization, the considering holder farmers and the multiple usage of seed, different type of seed varieties being used. So standardizing the things is very difficult. Again, geotagging and traceability. So I think considering all the constraint, but you have decided to venture into a field which is largely kind of a blue ocean for many, because
Absolutely.
I understand when I was studying, eChopal was made by ITC, and that time I got into connect with them, and it was an era when mobile phone was not there, farmer were not educated, there were no such awareness about the FPOs and all. But now with government, FPOs, everything is getting aligned. I'm sure your model will be really very useful for the large opportunity buyers, because if I am a manufacturer of biscuit, I need some quality floor. If I am a manufacturing some kind of a breakfast cereal, I need some ingredient plus the
Absolutely. And you need standard ingredients. You need
standard ingredient.
standardized ingredients.
I remember when I was in Coca-Cola, when we used to buy sugar as an opportunity buying, and we used to keep the sugar inside the sugar factory only and then keep on taking. So I
Yes.
think considering all those factors, plus the import market and the export market are also shaking up because of the pandemic, a lot of new supply chain are getting emerged.
Yes.
So I'm very sure your model will definitely help a lot, not only the farmer, but it will help the large buyer and the small buyers. Because I'm saying that when you are reducing the arbitrage of the interest cost, then the small buyer will be the biggest beneficiary. So what all you find whenever you hire people in your team, because you have to have a large team spread across the length and breadth of the country. So when you do the hiring of the youngster, because now I am talking direct question from the youth point of view, because in Jito we have a lot of youth who are engineers, who are chartered accountants, who are management graduates. So what will be your opinion and your view and perspective for them, that when they come up for any kind of a job or entrepreneurship opportunity, how, what all three qualities? Let me come very clear that what all three quality in a person apart from the degree you will be looking at before hiring. This is a HR question.
Rishabh ji, this is a very, very important question for the roots of the organization. I'll tell you how our organization works in terms of hiring. So the first and the foremost, we do not look for experience in the particular field. In fact, that's a negative for us, right? Agar kuch experience have, if they have experience in the agri sector, then they come with a sort of a baggage in their head. Then they won't be able to innovate, disrupt, or think according to new ways of doing business, right? So all the people in my team, we have a team of about 55 people in agri. We are doing about 150 crores per month of business. So all the people in my team, they do not have any kind of agri background. They built it from scratch. In the last 1 year, like I had zero agri background. Other people in my team did not have any kind of agri background. They learned it on the field. So the qualities that we look forward for people is very simply that they should be extremely hungry to grow. They should have that zeal and that passion, and they should basically be looking to really work and learn the field that they want to get into. We do not want people sitting in offices and sitting in cool AC offices, and then those who don't want to venture out, we actually don't look for those people. We look for people who can go to the far flung areas, who can go and meet with farmers, who can go and meet with traders, who can go and meet with warehouse people. Try and learn the trade. Ki wheat hota kya hai? What is the problem being faced by the current consumer? What is the problem being faced by the farmer? And then we try and solve that, thinking brand new, right? If a person has already been doing it, then they come with certain misconceptions or certain notions which we wanted to avoid. So that's the first thing that we look for. The person, does he have the hunger and the capability to actually strike it to the next level? The second thing that we look forward to is that the person should be extremely curious. They should ask a lot of questions, right? Internally and externally. They should challenge the status quo. In fact, to the internal team, if the person does and comes and says, oh, I will go, tell me what to do, I will do exactly that, we don't hire that person, right? We tell the person, okay, this is the problem, how will you solve it? We actually give them problems to solve, and they have to come up with solutions on the fly or ask questions. Then they come up with solutions. So we need solution oriented people, those who are very curious to know what are we trying to do, what is the problem that we're trying to solve, why are we doing what we are doing, right? There are a lot of businesses that are just running because no one really knows why they're doing what they're doing. right? So we want people to come and question us. ये क्यों कर रहे हो? ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर सकते और वैसा क्यों नहीं कर सकते? So that's something that we look forward in an individual. That's the second point, which is very, very important apart from the hunger and the hustle. The second thing is the curiosity bit. That's very important. And the third thing is that those people should be dreaming big and they should be leaders of tomorrow. Now, leadership is a quality that is picked up over a period of time, and you learn leadership, but that person should be that leadership quality and leadership material. You can sense, because if you see a person really dreaming big and making sure he's executing to that plan, then he's a leader of tomorrow. So that's something that we look forward to, that he should have that inherent zeal to do something really, really big, right? We don't want someone coming and saying, oh, I'm happy with doing 2 crores of business per month. No, if he comes and tells us, no, I want to basically grow 20% month on month bare minimum, that's the quality that we look at, or 40% month on month we want to look at, right? So that's something that I want to
Wonderful. I think
instill.
you have explained, you have solved the problem of many promoters and owners who are listening to this, that 3 quality, hunger, curiosity, and dreaming big. I think these are the crystal clear roadmap you have drawn, not only for the person's life, but for your company growth also, in terms of, doing new things and innovating. So today,
Right.
everybody talk about Indian agriculture problem. So I also personally feel that there is no problem. Small farmer, when you aggregate, become an FPO, problem solved. If you are aggregating the buyers, problem gets solved. So basically, our focus should be on solution rather than talking and measuring the problem, that how big the problem. So in a way, our Honorable Prime Minister recently announced, and 2-3 times he has said that India wants to develop 26 million hectares of wasteland by 2030 to combat the climate change and deforestation. And recently they have created a Ministry of Cooperation, and they have given a slogan called Sahkar Se Samriddhi, which is nothing but FPO, a larger FPO like Amul. We have Sayadri Farm, we have so many working, right? So as a startup in agri, when you will be dealing with large cooperatives, of course, the lot of intermediaries in the process, if they do not adapt to technology, they do not adapt to best practices, probably may got contained. So that is another threat you have to face. You have to deal with it, right? So because whenever in any new market you will go, you may find a kind of a cartel, you may find a kind of a challenge in terms of operating into that market, whether as a buyer or as a supplier of funds or supplier of material. So how do you see a collaborative approach can help in your business or in any business?
See, I mean, any business that is done is with the help of collaboration of buyers as well as suppliers. So if you're looking to solve the problem and this massive $1 trillion problem on your own, then you are misguided, right? So you have to be working with these cooperatives and these farmer producer organizations, and and come up with a combined solution, because you cannot operate in a silo. You have to basically work together, and you have to come up with a solution which is collaborative for all, and which is basically encompassing for all. If I say I know everything about agriculture, I'm wrong. I don't even know 0.0001% about agricultural problems in India, right? I don't. If you talk about a farmer, he knows much more than I do, obviously, right? So I need his help. I need the FPO's help, because the FPOs would know much more about the farmers than I do, because I've not spoken to that many farmers, as many farmers as an FPO would have. So I think the problem has to be encompassing, and then that collaborative approach has to be there. We work a lot with Amul. We supply it to all their cooperatives, etc. From them, we get to learn a lot, right? What are the problems they are facing? What are the supply chain problems they are facing? They are buying from various places. What are the quality issues they are facing? So again, we can only come up with solutions once we get to know from them, from the cooperatives, what their issues are or what the farmer issues are. So yes, there has to be a collaborative approach. There has to be a partnership, between players like us and an FPO, so that we can solve the problems together, and then we can look to sell their produce also and help them in with latest technologies, and they can further help us with the problems that currently the farmers are facing, so that we can find out a solution.
I think wonderful. I can see, being an 8th generation agripreneur myself and working for agripreneurship 2.0. I'm really thrilled to listen to your conversation in a way that the farmer today, in my view, are facing pre-harvest and post-harvest. On both sides, he is facing problem. In pre-harvest, he has got a high cost of capital, high price he's paying for the input like seed, fertilizer, pesticide. Then he has to manage the labor. His mechanization levels are low. And the post-harvest, the cold store facility, the processing facility at farm gate, so many storage and warehousing facilities are missing or not available in many areas, because I do travel a lot. So pre-harvest, post-harvest are the technical field. The harvesting and the cultivation is something he knows from ages. So he don't
Yeah.
need you don't need to tell him how to cultivate and how to harvest. But what to do post-harvest and what to do pre-harvest is something which is missing. And I was reading a report created by a think tank, Hemendra Mathur. He's a good friend. So they have created a very nice report saying that, these are the pain points, and these are the startups in agri alone. There are 250 odd startups who are solving the problem in silos. But when I listen to you, it looks like you are solving a much bigger a problem with a much deeper focus into the areas where the shoe is pinching.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so when you do all those things, of course, it is like dreaming big, as you rightly said that you believe in dreaming big. So you need a lot of capital, right? You need a lot of muscle power to basically, make a dent in the universe. So in that manner, how do you see the off business expanding its footprint in India? And are you also looking for expanding outside India, like Africa or some other region?
Yes. Thankfully, we managed to raise a decent amount of capital. The total equity capital that we've raised till now is close to about 2,500 crores. And the debt capital that we've raised is a similar amount, and then that value will keep growing. So in terms of capital, to help the ecosystem, we are sufficiently capitalized and in fact overcapitalized a little bit. And we're looking to deploy this capital in terms of our growth capabilities, in terms of technology, in terms of outreach, in terms of helping a lot of people. So yes, in terms of exports, etc., we're looking to get out, because we have only a domestic footprint as of now, but we're looking to get into export footprints where we're looking to export to, let's say, Dubai or the UAE, or start a little bit of import from Africa, because a lot of produce is grown in Africa, a lot of cashew is grown in Africa. So we want to get into those supply chains as well, where we are directly importing, looking at the quality checks. Right now, we were only doing Indian related agriculture. A lot of dals is also imported. So, we want to look at that as well, and look at controlling the entire supply chains. So that's something that we would be looking at. Yes, we have the capital, muscle power, etc. as well, but we will be using it in the right way, and not, trying to bully someone who's from the weaker section, but trying to help them and help them grow as well in this particular
I think I really appreciate your
ecosystem.
thought process and your vision. And I pray and I wish that your company should grow leaps and bounds, because a lot of GITO members also are actively involved in large scale agriculture in Africa, like country like Uganda, Kenya, and and they not only own but they cultivate in millions of acreage. So
Fantastic. We would love to get in touch with them to see how
so
we can
as a
work with them.
platform, Jito can provide you all the opportunity to connect the dots to the right people. And of course, when you have a problem solving attitude and when you want to dream big and do big, I think Jito as a platform is the right platform wherein a lot of things can happen. As we said, a lot of dots can be connected. So,
Absolutely.
and one more thing I want to know now, ask little bit personal question, because it's a massive task you have taken up in your hand. And of course, you might be a very busy in growth, but at the same time, as a person, as a human, how do you spend your favorite time, doing what? So that also, because a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of youth who are listening to you right now would be interested to know कि नितिन जैन क्या करते हैं जिससे वो इतना बड़ा सोच पाते हैं और कर पाते हैं.
नहीं, I think क्या होता है कि what I keep telling youngsters is that you should have a lot of clarity of thought. अगर if you're confused, if you're confused कि ये भी कर लेता हूँ, वो भी कर लेता हूँ, ये भी कर सकते हैं, वो भी कर सकते हैं, that never ever helps, right? When we started off, when I came from, let's say, London to India, I did not have a plan B, that अगर ये नहीं चला तो I can go back to London. I did not have that kind of thought process. I did not have I did not think about that. I just wanted to make the thing that I was doing successful. And that was only plan A. There was not even plan A1 or A2. It was just plan A. So I think for the youth, it's very important to keep that thought process very, very clear, and that clarity of thinking should be there, right? You should not be confused. What am I going to do? If you thought that yes, this is the right path for you to go into and get into, it is very important for you to follow that particular path and follow that path with a lot of passion, because sometimes people half-heartedly, do that. Like I was when I was in London, I was half-hearted into the investment banking scenario. So I said, no, this is not me. I want to do something full-fledged and where my passion and my heart lies. So that's why I wanted to come to India and solve a bigger problem. So that's where what I tell the youth is that once you have your eye on the goal and the vision, stick to it and then have it with a very clear thought process. Don't digress. ये भी कर लेता हूँ, वो भी कर लेता हूँ, ये भी कर सकते हैं. So never have your thought process split across 4 or 5 buckets. That's going to be a disaster. So you should just concentrate on one thing and do that thing very, very, very well. For that, I work a lot on my thought process as well. I think for about an hour a day, and I clear my thoughts. That's very important, right? I write down my
Clearing the
thoughts.
cache memory, clearing the temp files, and again back to the focus.
Absolutely, your recycle bin should be clear every single day. At the end of the day, there should not be any junk in your head, because the clearer your thought process is, the better you're going to think and better you're going to execute.
So do you do meditation, listen to some music, or you
No,
do?
I play a lot of sports. So I play tennis quite a bit, and I'm a big fan. So every single day I play for about an hour or so. That's my meditation, effectively.
Perfect. So I think this was really a great discussion we had. And as a parting remarks, I would like to know that, if there is an opportunity wherein you want to buy something in bulk, or you want to hire someone, or you want to, would you be looking at Jito Business Network
Oh,
also?
absolutely. I mean, the Jen.
25,000 odd business owners as in,
Yeah, I mean, all the Jito members, they are highly accomplished, and from whatever I've studied, all of them have very, very successful businesses, whether it's outside India, whether it's within India, because Jito has a huge presence outside India as well. We would love to speak to them to see how we can collaborate and, have our, with their help, have our footprint out there. And similarly, the other way around, in case, Jito members outside India want to set up something in India, we are there to help set
Let
up
me,
a
let
lot.
me give you a quick glimpse about the agri-food vertical we have, wherein we have large agripreneurs having, thousands and thousands of hectares of land where they are cultivating all the commodities, whether it's a oil seed, it's a pulses, or it's a medicinal plant or whatever. Then we have a processors who are processing the natural extract, essential oils. And then we have traders and warehouse owners who are creating warehouses for the large companies, the silos and the automated warehousing. So we have a
Yeah.
lot of warehouse entrepreneurs, I would say. And then we have logistics entrepreneurs owning thousands of fleet, moving one stuff to another on a regular basis. We have large fleet owners like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 truck owners. So all those people are there. You will find them in this vertical of agri-food and logistics, because all are integrated, interconnected. So definitely we would love to have a detailed presentation and some sort of a roundtable with them whenever the time permits, and also we would love to have a physical event so that a lot of vibration get exchanged.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to.
So we'll organize that in the business network for you. And we have youth, with all the great colleges across the world. We have recently tied up with Harvard, with IIM Ahmedabad, for the
Wow.
people who have not gone there. So there is a joint certificate program which is signed by Jito as well as Harvard, signed by Jito and IIM Ahmedabad. So we are doing that also under our Center for Excellence initiative. So we would love to design some programs which we feel that can help the agripreneur and the foodpreneur and the entrepreneur in this field to go to the next level or to change their orbit. So if you come up with any idea which is a win-win, we would love to participate in that. And if you happens to hire interns, if you happens to hire any freshers, a canvas wherein the people who can think big, do big, dream big.
Yeah, we are happy to hire. We hire on an ongoing basis. We would love to hire some of the Jito members. Yeah.
On 30th, I'm giving you an opportunity right now. 30th August, we are organizing a job Mahamela. It's a Zoom
Okay.
Mahamela on mahakumbh.online, wherein 20 company. Actually, we have got 50 companies who want to participate. We have selected only 20, and they will come and they will interact with the candidates we have on jitojobs.org, which is a complete social platform to do the matchmaking. For corporate, we do not charge anything from the corporate. We do not charge anything from the
Fantastic.
employee. So this is a win-win situation for all. So
Fantastic. Sounds very good.
your HR to do make a visit, and they can have a first feel.
Yeah.
And then we can organize some more programs with you.
No, that'll be fantastic. Thank you so much, Rishabh. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time, and I really enjoyed.
The pleasure was all mine.
And I believe your people can register on Mahakumbh, www.mahakumbh.online. It is a 24/7 virtual business expo with 450 different businesses set up already there. A lot of programs are going to happen. A lot of interaction are going to happen. While we are talking, there are hundreds of people live doing networking. So you can tell
Fantastic.
registration is free. There is no charge, and it's open to all. So we have called CII, PhD chambers, we have called industry chambers. Everybody is working. Yesterday, when we started, on the first day, we had 9,000 people. Unique
Wow.
visited the expo.
Wow.
Today, by night, I'll come to know what is the number. But our total expectation in 12 days is 1 lakh plus, which I'm sure we will easily achieve.
No, that's fantastic. That's an excellent platform that you've created.
So I request your team members can also come,
Yes.
make new friends, get to know some new ideas, and also share some new thoughts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will do that. Thank you so much, Rishabh ji.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.